Hi FOD, this is Jeffrey. I'm going to give you a demonstration of the game. I hope you can see it okay. I'll stand off to one side. Okay, what I've drawn for you is the Proud Ships game, and I've got the pieces marked on here. This is a battleship, this is a destroyer, this is another destroyer, this is a submarine, and this is a submarine. Alright, here's the playing board, and down here is player number 2, their ships, which is a battleship, a destroyer, a submarine, and a submarine. Now to start with, all these pieces are in dry dock, alright, which is off of the playing surface. Alright, the first 4 squares on both sides of the board are the port. Alright, now, each turn, each person gets 1 turn, and that I've designated, you start the game by tossing the dice, and whoever has the highest number starts. So, a turn consists of these parts. There's 5 parts to a turn. So the first thing that happens is the winning player has to try to get his ships out of the dry dock and into the port area. Now there's 4 squares in the port area. If a person gets 4 ships out, then the port is full, and then that's all they can get out. So then they have to move to the next piece of the turn, which is offensive. So let's start out. This would be player number 1. And I roll the dice, and he gets a 5 and a 6. So he gets to move 1 ship out. Alright, so we move out 1 destroyer. That's just 1 ship of his choice. Alright, now he gets to keep rolling as long as he gets a 5. He can take ships out. Now he doesn't have to. He can stop anytime he chooses to stop, but he cannot get a ship out unless he gets a 5. Alright, the next roll is a 5 and a 3, so he can take another ship out. So let's say he decides to take out a submarine. So he takes out a submarine, and he puts it in the port area. Now, since he rolled a 5, he gets another chance. So, okay, now he rolled a 6 and a 2, which is an 8, and it isn't a 5. So he's through now with this part of the turn. He's got the ships out to port. So the next thing is he gets an offensive move, which allows him to move his ships 1 square in any direction. Now he can't move back into the dry dock. That's another thing. So but he can move out here. So he could move to this square, this square, this square, this square. He could actually move this submarine to this square if he wanted to, but there's no point because he wants to get his ships out of port. So let's say he moves his ships 1 square ahead. Now he gets to move any or all of his ships. He could leave it this way if he wanted to, or he can move his destroyer too. Okay, now he's decided to move all of his ships 1 square ahead. Alright, that's his offensive move. Alright, now he gets to engage, the next part of his move is he gets to engage the opponent. But he has to be adjacent to the opponent. He's not, so this part is moot for this time around. He can't do it. So he moves to the next part. The next part is he gets a defensive move. He can move his ships any 1 square in any direction, alright, for his defensive move. So now, it doesn't benefit him to move back to port because these ships are fully armed, alright, and so he gets his defensive move, which allows him to move 1 square in any direction. So let's say he moves them down here 1 square closer to the opposition. Okay, now he gets to return any ships in the port. He gets now to roll a 5 to see if he can get them back into dry dock. He doesn't have any ships in port, so this becomes a moot part of the turn also. So his turn is over with. He's done all the things that he can do in his turn. So now his turn is done and the turn shifts to the second player. All right, now I've marked down here the armaments on each piece. The battleship has got 8 offensive pieces and 4 defensive pieces. A destroyer has got 6 offensive pieces and 3 defensive pieces. A submarine has got 4 offensive pieces and 2 defensive pieces. All right, now the thing to remember about offense and defense is that the submarine can attack any other ship, a destroyer can attack any other ship, but a battleship cannot attack a submarine. A submarine's underwater, and the only thing that can attack a submarine is another submarine by shooting a torpedo at it, or a destroyer whose offensive pieces can be either missiles or depth charges. Regardless of what they are, they can attack a submarine. But a battleship can't attack a submarine. It can attack another battleship or it can attack a destroyer. All right, and okay, and you know, remember the object of the game is to sink the other guy's battleship. So now it's player number 2's turn. So player number 2 gets his turn. He gets to try to get something out of port. So he throws the dice. He gets a 5. All right, so he can take his ship out of the dry dock and put it into port. All right, now he got his ships out, so he can shake another thing. Okay, he got another 5, 3 and a 2. All right, so he decides to take out another destroyer. So he's going to take out 2 of his destroyers. All right, he got his 5, so he can continue to roll. Okay, he got a 3, so that is not a 5, so now he can no longer take ships out of port. So now he moves to the next part of his turn, which is the offensive move. So he can move his ships 1 square in any direction. So he moves his ships out of port. Now, the next he gets to engage or attack the other person. But he can't attack him because you have to be in an adjacent square to attack. And he isn't in an adjacent square, so that part of the turn is moot. So he can't do that. Now he gets his defensive move. So he can move his pieces 1 square in any direction. So he moves them up here. So he's now positioning himself so that he can attempt to attack the other person's turns. All right, now he gets to return to dock if he has any ships in port. He doesn't have any ships in port, so he can't do this. So this is the end of his turn. All right, now we go back to player number 1. All right, now player number 1 gets these parts of his turn again, 1 turn. So he gets to try to get ships out of port, so he shakes the dice. 5, he got an 8, a 5 and a 3. So he decides to move another destroyer out into port. All right, now he gets to shake again. He gets a 6 and a 1, so he can't, that's no 5, so he can't bring anything out of port. All right, now he's done doing that part of them out to port. So now he gets the offensive move. So he can move all of his pieces 1 square in any direction. So let's say he moves this one down here, that's 1 square, and he moves these pieces 1 square. All right, that's his offensive move. Now he can engage, but he can't engage anything because he's not adjacent to anything. All right, now he gets his defensive move. All right, so the defensive move, he can move all of his, any or all of his ships 1 square in any direction. So these are all fully loaded ships now, so he moves them 1 square. Now, he doesn't want to move them here necessarily because he puts himself in a position where he can be attacked. So he might want to start spreading his ships out a little bit and get a little more things. So he moves one ship there, and he moves a ship here. All right, now he's starting to arrange himself in whatever strategy he has for making his attack. All right, now he gets to return to dock. He doesn't have any ships in port, so he can't shake to return to dock. So that's the end of his turn. Now it moves to player number 2. Player number 2 tries to get ships out of port. He rolls a 10, all right, but he doesn't roll a 5. It's a 6 and a 4, so he isn't able to get anybody out of port. All right, now, so he's done doing that. Now he gets his offensive move. All right, so he can move his ships any number of squares in any direction. So he moves one ship up here, and he moves this ship up here. All right, so now these two ships are in adjacent squares. Now corners count. Corners count. So this ship can attack this ship. This ship can also attack this ship because they're in corners. So these two ships can attack this ship. And this is one of the things that's the strategy of the game. It's wise to double up because the advantage in an attack is for the defender. All right, so now he gets to engage. So he's going to attack. All right, now his destroyer has got 6 offensive pieces. So he throws the dice, and he gets an 8. All right, now the defender rolls the dice, and the defender gets an 11. So what happens now? Well, this ship, he has to designate which ship he's shooting from, incidentally. So he shot from this ship. So now this ship has wasted or shot one of its missiles and missed. So it only has 5 left. So I'm going to write that down on this piece here. He's shot 1 missile. And I'm just going to keep track of this down here. So this ship here is now down 1 missile. All right, so 1 offensive piece is shot. All right, now he gets to shoot again. And he gets to continue to shoot until he runs out of ammunition or he sinks the other guy. But he hasn't even touched the other guy yet. So, all right, now he rolls a 5. So he's attacking again from this ship to this ship. 8. So the defender rolls an 8. So now this destroyer is down 2 offensive missiles. He's shot and he's missed. All right, so he's going to shoot a 3rd one. 4. All right, so the defender rolls, and the defender gets a 5. So he misses again. So he's shot now 3 missiles, and he's got 3 left. Okay. He decides to shoot again from this ship to this ship. He gets an 8. All right, the defender gets an 11. So that means the defender wins again. So he's now shot 4 pieces, and he's missed every time. So the defender is still fully loaded. Okay. He decides to shoot 1 more missile from here to here. He gets a 9. The defender gets a 10. So now he's shot 5 missiles at the defender, and he hasn't hit 1. He's now only got 1 missile left. So he decides to shoot that last missile off of this destroyer. All right, he gets a 6. The defender gets a 3. So the defender now loses a piece. Now, the defender has 6 offensive pieces and 3 defensive pieces. So in total, offensive pieces count as defensive pieces too. So he's got a total of 9 defensive pieces. So what happens is the first thing he loses is one of his offensive pieces.